Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
This is the Three Wheels of Wrestling podcast.
It's the Three Wheels of Wrestling podcast. Yes, another wrestling podcast. I'm Willie Tiny, and my guest hosts today are Will the Thrill and L.A. Willie.
Yeah.
And we have a guest with us today. He is Greg Z. List.
That's Craig,
How you
not
doing?
Greg. Craig C. List.
Craig. Yes, Craig.
That's better. Gotta make sure you say my name right.
Gotcha.
That's right.
So, Craig, you work for various wrestling promotions in the area.
This is true.
You wanna touch on what promotions you work for?
Let's see. Currently, I work for Pro Wrestling R as a referee. UWC. Oh, that's in where is that? New Jersey. That's in New Jersey. UWC in New Egypt, New Jersey, as a manager. 1CW as a manager / wrestler. And let's see, UWC, Pro Wrestling R. Oh, and SPO Wrestling as a manager. And that's also New Jersey.
All right. Recently, you ref for ECWA Night of Legends.
That was such... I've never, and I put this on my Facebook post, I've never described a show as joyful before. Yeah, that's me. That's me. But that was the most joyful locker room I've ever been in, and everyone wanted to be there. It was just such a pleasure to be associated. I used to just shoot ringside for Jim Kettner's ECWA, so the fact that he let me referee a couple of the matches, it was a blessing. I just had a great time, and I saw people that I haven't seen in literally decades. Like Glenn Osborne was there. I haven't seen him in forever. Cheetah Master was there. Mega, just so many people from the past. It was great. And also people that I've known forever, like Chris Wilde worked the show. And it was sold out. It was packed. The house was packed. And it's like a one-time only thing. And I'm glad I got to see Jim Kettner, and I thanked him for all that he did in wrestling. And I got to see, J.R. Ryder was there too, and Chubby Dudley. Just so many names from the past, and it was just great seeing them all. And Brandy Mankiewicz from PWI, who she used to be like a photographer / writer. I didn't recognize her until, and I was literally standing next to her. I didn't recognize her until she got some sort of award from Jim Kettner. And then both myself and Christopher Daniels did not recognize her, and we were standing right next to her. Which then I heard her mouth and she started talking. I was like, "Oh, Brandy, now I recognize you." Okay. It was fun. It was a fun show.
So
I
where
was,
did you do your
Go ahead.
where did you do your training to be a referee as well as being a manager?
Okay, well, the guy who trained me is Mark Harrow. Here's one of my plugs. I'll get this in early. He works at the Workhorse Wrestling Training Center, 34 Kent Avenue, Felton, Delaware, 19943, cheap plug. But Mark Harrow, I've known him for years, and I can't think of a better trainer. And I used to work at this company called DCW. I don't work there anymore. And they had an idea for me to transition from a photographer to a referee, because I said I just wanted to do more. And Mark Harrow was tasked with training me how to be a referee. And he did. I refereed for a year. And then a year after that, he said, "I see something else in you. You want to manage?" I'm like, no, I can't do that. And then he's like, "I got this great idea. We'll call you Craig Z List." I'm like, is that like Craigslist where all that freaky stuff happens? I don't know if I want to be called that.
Right.
But you know what? The name is growing on me, and I love it. And I love being a manager. And the plaid suit that I wear, I got as a gift from Corey Castle, who got it from Nick Burke when Nick Burke was doing the Nikki Benz Lounge Singer act. So it's a historical jacket, and it has served me well over the years. That jacket is money.
Nikki Benz is the manager for Michael.
Remember Nick Burke?
I don't want to say he changed his name recently. Well, a couple of years ago. He was our first guest. He used to be Michael Mars. Now he's no, he is Michael Mars now. He is Michael Mars.
You sure?
He used to be Shane Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if this is the same Nick Burke, because this Nick Burke has been around since he was like a teenager, from like years and years ago.
Nicky Benz. Nicky Benz.
He did a gimmick for a while. Nicky Benz. He was like a game show host, like a smarmy lounge singer kind of guy.
Does he work for ISPW?
No, he doesn't work for anyone anymore, as far as I know. He might, but I don't keep in touch. I don't keep in touch with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Craig, what got you into this business?
Well, I started off. I was just sick of watching Saturday morning cartoons, so I was flipping around, and I'm like, "Hey, what's this? Guys beating each other up? Okay, this is good. Violence solves everything." So I started watching that, and I just got involved with the WWF as it was at the time.
Right.
And I started watching it, much to my parents' chagrin, because they hate wrestling with a passion, as does my wife. But luckily, at least my wife lets me, go to shows. Doesn't give me any grief about it. But I just started watching it, and then I started reading the magazines, and I was like, oh, there's more than WWF out there. So I started reading about other promotions, and I realized, oh, there's local independent promotions. So I started checking those out and just going to shows. And the first one I ever went to was Tri-State Wrestling Alliance that Joel Goodhart promoted. That's the predecessor to ECW. Do you remember Joel Goodhart?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I went to one of his TWA shows. He ran at Michael Jack's bar at 8th and Market, which is no longer there. And I sat front row, and these guys were wrestling like right in front of me, and I got to see Cactus Jack like live before it was like anything. And suplex the guy on the floor in front of me, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. And after a while, I just worked up the courage, and it was actually Bay Ragney, Chubby Dudley. I went to one of his shows and said, can I shoot ringside? And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I started shooting ringside for 15 years. And that was a lot of fun. I keep saying that was the coolest thing ever, but then I wanted to do more. So then I became a referee, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Then I became a manager, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And now I've said many times, I don't want to wrestle. I'm not a wrestler, but the last 3 1CW shows I've been to, I've wrestled. So, yep, there you go.
There you go.
So I'll go on the air right now.
Pretty much leveled up.
I cut a mean physique right there.
Yeah.
I do work out a lot.
I see the gun.
Yeah, I work out 4 or 5 times a week, legitimately. Not lifting heavy weights or anything, but I do work out. And yeah, thanks for showing the chest hair too. That's always a great look. But so I'll go in the air right now and say, Mark Harrow, you were right. I'm a wrestler, even though I've denied it. I was like, I'm not a wrestler, but I keep showing up. So okay, I'm a wrestler. I wouldn't consider myself a great wrestler, but I'm like, on par with Jim Cornette and Paul Heyman when they wrestled. So I look at it that way. You
could say you did it.
Yeah,
right.
And I still do it.
And kudos to you as well, Craig. I mean, from a photographer to a referee to a manager to even getting in the ring yourself. I mean, that's just awesome, dude.
Yeah. Oh, and I've done color commentary too on a couple of shows.
So, see, trying to give you your flowers.
That's the one. You guys have done
Willie Spidey.
Oh, that's where I know you from. Oh, geez. Now I'm embarrassed.
Yes. That's okay.
That's where I know you from. Okay. Yeah, there's my fellow color commentator. Actually, I think I was a stray man. He was a color man at that show.
Yeah, it was.
I know Willie Tiny. He loved it, and he couldn't say enough about it.
Yes. Greg, you helped me through that so much. Like, I was struggling so bad, and you were just there the whole time giving me confidence. Like it was just overwhelming for me. Just thank you for helping me get through it.
Well,
My
that
my
gives me.
my anxiety was so bad, but thank you.
Well, I'm glad I was able to help. Now I got Spilkas into Gesundheitsung. Thank you so much for the compliment. I want people to do well. I want everyone to do well in the wrestling business. It's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, don't do it.
Don't
Just
do it. Yeah.
Yes,
get out and
exactly.
don't bitch and complain, and make room for someone who wants to do it and actually enjoy themselves. I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've been a referee since like 2011, so that's like 13 years now that I've
Yeah.
actually been in the ring. You know, referee since 2011, manager since 2012, wrestler since I don't know when my first wrestling match was. I just got like thrown in there.
Above all the things you do in wrestling that you contribute to wrestling, what's your favorite?
God, and I can't believe I'm saying. Well, I used to say managing, but now more and more when I'm getting in the ring wrestling, I'm like, oh, this is fun. Everyone's paying attention to me because managing is cool too. Because I don't have to remember as much. When you're wrestling, you got to remember. Okay, you got to remember this and this happens and this happens and this happens. You got to remember so much stuff.
Mhm.
And like I said, I don't have a great memory retention, but I love wrestling, but also I love managing too. But it's getting more and more into like I like wrestling, much to my wife's chagrin because I come home and she's like, "How bad are you hurt?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine." And she's like, okay. But I love managing just because I get to yell at the fans and the wrestlers take the bumps for me. Although I have been bumping a lot more. Like when the guys do dives outside, I don't move out of the way anymore. I just like take it, because I know how to take it now. And again, that's thanks to Mark Harrell's training. I got to plug him again. And a Workhorse Wrestling Training Center. So cheap plug.
Hey, nothing's cheap here. We lay everything
That's a
out on the
plug.
table.
Okay.
Right.
That we love plugs on this show.
Well, so does wrestling. Wrestling's all about plugs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have to plug.
Mhm.
If there was no plugs, there would be no wrestling.
That's right. There'd be no commercials, no sponsorship, no shows. Okay, so what else do you guys want to ask me? Come on.
Is there a favorite match that you enjoyed refereeing in your time?
Yes, the one that comes to mind. Well, two come to mind. The first one is when I refereed Jerry Lawler against James Ellsworth. I mean, my
Yeah.
God, the man's a legend. Jerry Lawler.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, I couldn't believe that I was in there managing Jerry Lawler, and I was like a big part of the finish too, which was awesome because he was like, giving me a lot of grief and shoved me around, and I did like a fast count on him, and James Ellsworth won the match because I fast counted, even with his feet on the ropes, and it was just Lawler's like, "Yeah, you did a good job out there." I was like, "Oh." So, another one that comes to mind is when I refereed a match. This was like early on in my career, like in 2012. I refereed a match. It was Tommy Dreamer versus Ed House in a Singapore like loser gets caned 10 times match. But the best part about it, I took a bump from Dreamer, like he squashed me in the corner, and but the best thing about it is it wasn't just like, I mean, obviously Dreamer went over. He didn't cane Ed House 10 times. He caned him once, then he gave the cane to Sandman. Sandman caned him once. He gave it to this other guy. I got the guy that caned him once, and because I was the referee, he gave me the cane. I got to cane a guy. So that was the first time I ever caned someone, which was awesome.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Really
yeah,
awesome.
And I'll tell you one more story. And this is another referee one. One of the first. This is really, really early on in my referee career. DCW brought in Jim Neidhart, and I refereed a match between Jim Neidhart and Zach Connor. And what was supposed to happen was that I was supposed to get in between them, and they were just both supposed to like push me down. And I'm pretty sure Zach did that, but for some reason, I know Zach's not this strong. I blinked and I was on the other side of the ring, and my head like hit the ropes, and I was like, I had like a lump on the back of my head. So I'm pretty sure that was Neidhart who just flinched and threw me across the ring. And I don't have footage of that anywhere. I wish the heck I did, because I got a lump, but it was cool because Jim Neidhart threw me across the ring. I'm like, that's awesome.
That sounds very awesome. Even to work with legends.
Oh, anytime I get to work, I have like a whole man cave, which I have all the people I've worked with. I get their figures, and my gimmick is I go to the conventions and get them to sign. It's like, yeah, because I refereed this match with you, and I did this and that, whatever. And like I got to pick up Ron Simmons one time and drive him to a show, and it's just fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know, Nyla Rose early on in her career gave me the Steamboat Choke, like in 2013.
Nice.
Like before she like became as big as she is now, she gave me the Steamboat Choke, and that was cool. I sold for her because if you don't, she will hurt you. And she's just a really, really nice person.
It's good.
No matter what happens in wrestling, you have to sell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't sell, you're an absolute jerk. I mean, why would you not? Unless you're like your gimmick is like the Road Warriors, and it's like, oh, you can't hurt me, whatever. Or to be honest, like if I'm a manager and I like, for example, chop you, it's okay not to sell because like I'm a manager. You're not supposed to flinch unless it's
Right.
I've worn you down or something like that. So I understand there's certain times where you don't sell, and there's certain times where you do sell. So
Yeah. Here's another.
there we go. There's the moneymaker right there. Craig Z List.
Yep.
I've had that shirt or that jacket. Wow. Like 2012. Oh God. 12 years. 12 years I've had that jacket.
So how many outfits do you actually have of that type or that kind?
I just have that jacket. I do have a spare jacket, honestly. That came recently because I needed another pair of pants, and like the jacket came with it. But I had a how shall I say this? Wardrobe malfunction with my pants at one of the shows, and that was at UWC. So those pants that you see there are the next biggest size. So there's no way I'm going to have that problem again. Oh, and the best part about that wardrobe malfunction, that was a show where I brought some of my some people I knew to see, and the pants tore, so I just like ducked down on the side of the ring for the rest of the match. And I'm like, maybe it's not that bad. So I poked my head up a little bit, and the little girl across the arena said, "Did you rip your pants? I can see." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just going to stay out here." Yeah, I'm just going to stand on here until the match is over. Okay. And then later on, the guys came out in intermission. "Hey, you did great. This is the first match I've ever been to. How'd you do that trick with the pants?" I'm like, "That was no trick." I would all have to say, "Yeah, it was magic. I did this. There's this seam." No, it just ripped.
It just ripped. Yeah.
Any championship matchups you ever remember reffing?
Championship matches. For just championship matches for some of the promotions I've worked for. DCW, like I remember it was Casey Carlisle, who's retired, versus who the heck is she now? She was in TNA for a while. I forget her name. But I remember that was like for the women's title. Oh, here's a women's title match for DCW. It was Deonna Purrazzo versus Chelsea Green.
New Jersey's
Chelsea
that was
Green.
DCW, Dynamite Championship Wrestling in Delaware. I don't work for them anymore. But I did referee Deonna Purrazzo versus Chelsea Green. And what I take away most from that match is neither one of them knew a darn thing about Star Wars. So I was shocked, and I was like, "Who are you people?" And it turns out I also for ECWA I ref for them for a while. I worked a bunch of Deonna Purrazzo matches against Karen Q, who it turns out now works in NXT as who's that she's that sleeping girl. What's her name?
Oh, Wendy Cho.
Wendy Chu.
Wendy Chu. Wendy Chu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I worked with Wendy Chu when she was Karen Q. Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's always fun when you're. Oh, and I did for ECWA worked a match. I think it was Joe Gacy. I think he was against Kakoa. I'm not sure, but I did manage Joe Gacy. I'm sorry, I refereed a match against Joe Gacy, and also in 302 Pro Wrestling 2, I refereed a match with Joe Gacy. So that was cool.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice. And
We
he's
gotta-
blowing up right now. Part of that Wyatt Six.
Who's my favorite client to manage?
Yes.
Right now, the guy I'm managing, Brilliant Bobby Banks. He's a lot of fun to manage because we click so well together, and he's just a fun guy, talented worker, and just a pleasure to work with. Also, Iron Belargus, I also worked with him in UWC. I don't want to put him down, but I'd say if I had a favorite, it would be Brilliant Bobby Banks, just because I have so much fun. We have so much fun together. And before that, it was JJ Cruz, but he has retired from the business. I miss him terribly. He has nothing to do with wrestling anymore. But I had a lot of fun with him. I got to manage Ooh La La, Mr. Ooh La La. So he's a national treasure, quite frankly. And if you watch him, it's magic because he does so much with just the smallest things. And actually, I got to manage JJ Cruz and Ooh La La to the tag team championships in DCW, which I'm sure if you ask Mr. Ooh La La is his greatest victory. I'm kidding about
Very
that.
cool.
But yeah, Mr. Ooh La La, you can learn so much from that guy. He's a fountain of information.
Oh, for sure. He's a great dude.
Yeah, and he's a legend. He's an independent
Oh,
wrestling
he's a legend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You talk about yourself being a heel.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this photo.
Oh, that would be how'd that happen? He had if I was in character, I'd say, oh, I was just helping him. He had something caught in his throat. I was just helping him. I was giving him the Heimlich.
Right. I don't think
No.
so, Craig. I
Ain't
don't think
buying
so.
it.
Okay, look at it this way. Did I get caught?
Probably not.
No. It's a yes or no question. Did I get caught?
No.
Then I wasn't cheating.
That's
That's the way I see it. And thoughts on the independent wrestling industry? Can I answer this question?
yes.
Yes, you may.
It's for you.
Take your floor.
Okay. Well, thoughts on the independent wrestling industry? It's enjoying a renaissance right now. It was really blah the past few years, but really now it's going really, really well. There's indies all over the place, and there's so many independent wrestling shows you can go to and just have a good time and enjoy yourself. And I love independent wrestling. I mean, I wouldn't be on this podcast if it wasn't for independent wrestling. It's in a good state right now. Obviously, there's some people, not some nice promoters, but I'm not going to name names, and I don't work for any of them. I've never worked for any of them anyway. So, independent wrestling, it's in a good state right now. It's a good spot right now because the people that you see on the indie shows, you're going to see them in WWE and AEW. Joe
Absolutely.
Gacy comes to
Yep.
mind. Nyla Rose comes to mind. Private Party comes to mind. So all these people that you're seeing on the indies, you're going to see them in the Fed and in AEW and wherever at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So go support your independent wrestling promotion, most preferably the shows I'm on, and buy my merch. That's how you can support independent
You
wrestling.
do have
by buying my
merch. So
I have some merch.
Where can we buy your merch at?
Well, pretty much I just sell merch at UWC. I don't have I've always been told, heels don't have merch or not supposed to have merch, but I'm kind of getting away from that. So UWC, I have merch. That's pretty much it. Just go to UWC and buy my merch because I have my pictures laid out there. There's this one promotion called the Wrestling Independent that promotes every so often.
Mhm.
And I had merch out at one show, and no one touched it. I'm like, yeah, I won't do that again.
What about Pro Wrestling Tees? Try
I
putting
don't have
stuff
any
on there.
I don't have any T-shirts, but I know why. One of the main reasons why I don't have merch is I don't have money to invest in merch. That's it.
Hey,
Gotta get
that's
money first,
completely
'cause,
understandable.
you know, those hot dogs don't pay for the shirts. You know.
Hot dogs and a handshake.
Yeah, but no, I get. I don't work shows. I mean, there are certain shows and certain occasions where yes, I have worked for free, but I don't do it on a regular basis. I expect to get paid, and I do get paid, and I have no problem with anyone. No one's ever not paid me when they shouldn't have. So
Right.
I work for all those promotions I mentioned. Good promotions, no issues.
Now that you say you've been in the ring for a bit now, what would be your dream match to have?
Oh, I don't want to wrestle. I guess if I had like a dream match, I had. There's not a dream match that I want to have because I don't want to wrestle because I would get destroyed and hurt. And more importantly than that, I don't want to make the people I work with look bad. So that's why I don't. I'm just finding myself wrestling. I don't plan on it. They're just saying, "Oh, what am I doing on the show? Oh, you're wrestling this guy." I'm like, "Oh, well, okay, I have my tights." But I'll tell you what my favorite gimmick angle, whatever it was in wrestling, where I'm in 1CW. I guess you could say I'm associated with the Horribles, which is like Mark Haro, Samael, Wyatt Beaver, and myself, and also Mike. I forget his last name. He's one of the new owners now. He's also part of the Horribles. And there was an angle where they had I guess it was a Texas death match where everyone, you had to be standing, and all four of the guys they wound up knocked out, and I had just joined the Horribles. So I got up in the ring, and another person, Samael, just joined the Horribles, got up in the ring, and I tell the ref, count. So the referee counted to 10, and everyone's like, what's going on here? And I literally, this wasn't planned. I mean, they didn't know what was going on. So I grabbed the mic. I'm like, the winner of the match, and still standing, the Horribles, because I was the manager. I just joined. So I was a tag team champion. Legit.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, just for a month. Next show I lost it, obviously, but
yeah,
that was cool.
It still worked.
Actually, I'll tell you one. Singles title. It was when I was managing JJ Cruz in UWC. This was I'm surprised I forgot this. This was the best match I ever had because it was a 2-on-1 handicap match. Me and JJ Cruz against Jay the Key Evans, and obviously it was set up. They set up so the face can get his hands on both the evil wrestler and the evil manager, and we worked it out where it's like JJ tripped the guy and I covered him 1, 2, 3, and we were co-United States champion. So, but I took the belt home and I did the whole CM Punk thing just as an angle. I wore the belt, I pictures of me with the belt in the bed and by the shower and in the refrigerator. The whole thing CM Punk did with the belt. I did that with the U.S. title, and I got the reaction I wanted. Like, how dare he desecrate the U.S. title? I'm like, yeah, that's the reaction I want. And I was legitimately U.S. champion. And the best part of that was it was around like Thanksgiving, so I had my family over, and when they came over, I'm like, Mom, you know how you hated when I watched wrestling and you wouldn't let me watch the pay-per-views even though I really begged and I asked you to? And she's like, yeah. And I plunked the belt on the table. I was like, there's my U.S. heavyweight championship.
Awesome.
Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the reaction I wanted. All she said was, did they hit you in the face? I'm like, no. She's like, that's good because I paid $2,000 for those teeth. I'm like, that's not the reaction I wanted. Damn. But that was the best singles match. You're a really good ref at Pro Wrestling R. I'd like to think so. Thank you, Joe Hale. I appreciate that. Actually, since he mentioned that, can I get a plug in for them?
Yes,
Sure can.
absolutely.
Okay. because
Plug away.
their next show is Sunday, August 18th, and I'm refereeing for them then. 2:00 bell time. They're located 827 Jersey Avenue, Gloucester City, New Jersey, and the show is called 99 Problems.
That's a great name.
And
That
a
is a great
referee.
name. There you go.
Yeah. Each show is named something different. I love it's Ron Starr. It's Ron Starr's promotion, and it's really well run, and I enjoy it a lot. I love refereeing for them. O'Shea Edwards also has a good deal putting the shows together. So it's a lot of fun, and that's the main place where I just ref. I can't think of any other place where I ref just a ref. Sometimes there'll be like a show that popped up like that ECWA show. They're like, "You want to ref?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So that's the only place I like ref full time.
And you had the first match on the card.
For ECWA.
ECWA, yes.
Now, so were you there at that show?
Yes, I was there.
So, yeah, Mike Z is a champ at Pro
Wrestling Hour.
Now, is it just me, or did I get a pop coming out when they announced my name?
I think so.
Okay, so I'm not hallucinating.
No.
Good. The wise people there, wise fans. They know.
Yes.
Obviously, they know. They know how talented I am, and
Yeah, I popped. I didn't know you were going to be a ref that night.
Yeah, I was. I didn't tell. I said, yeah, I'm coming down to the show. I didn't tell people. I just showed up, and because like you never know, and it's like I showed up.
You always bring your shirt. Always bring your shirt.
Always bring your gear, because with me, I actually have a suitcase where there's a big tear in the side that's getting bigger and bigger because I got to bring my ref gear, my manager gear, and my wrestling gear because I never know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Especially with 1CW, I could ref, manage, and wrestle all on the same show. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
I was gonna ask you if you ever did that in any of the shows, like do all three.
Not all three. I've done managing and wrestling on the same show, but not refereeing. And I've done refereeing and managing, but I haven't done all three. That would be
the trifecta.
That would be something.
Yeah. That would be
the goal. Talk to the promoters. Make it happen.
Hey, I'm busy enough as it is. Okay, I'm getting up there. I'm 53 years old. I'll be 54 in December, and I'm happy where I am now. It's like don't push me. Don't push me. It's like it's. I'm going to do this as long as I possibly can because Mr. Ulala is a little bit older than me. I know there's some wrestlers that are older than me by a little bit. I want to do this as long as I possibly can. And I know how the business works. When people say they retire, they retire. And then they come back. It's only a matter of time.
Because you get that itch.
You come back.
Go ahead, Craig. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you come back, you get hurt. Then you're out for a while legit, and you come back again, and then you don't get hurt for a while, and you're like, oh, I got this. And you get hurt again really bad. And you're like, okay, one more run. You come back, and then you can't walk anymore, and that's it.
True.
Or maybe your back goes out or something. I don't know. And then you just do commentary, or you manage, or you promote.
All right. Well, I got a question for you, and see if you can also help out. So.
Okay.
I was picked up for a show with Willie Tiny, okay? Willie Tiny was supposed to do commentary with me, but ended up having to ref. Such as you said, bring your gear. You never know. Yes. So, he did a couple matches that day, which involved championship matches, which was pretty huge, including one, shout out to Drake Younger, gave Willie Tiny advice. What advice would you give Willie Tiny?
Okay, first of all, always bring your gear. Second of all, tuck in your shirt. That's a pet peeve of mine. Always tuck in your shirt when you referee. And make sure you have the referee shirt, striped shirt, black pants.
He did.
Okay, and dark shoes Sneakers, maybe, as long as they're black and I've seen some rough with sneakers. I mean, I prefer shoes, maybe Dockers, Docksiders, but and always look like you're doing something. Never just, if you're a referee, never just stand around with your hands in your pockets, just not doing anything. Just, keep checking on them or circling them or something like that. Just occasionally, just you good, you okay. Make sure you're loud so the people in the cheap seats can hear you. Just be active. Never just stand there. That's, if I had to say one thing, be active. Make like you're always doing something. And don't drift off. Don't forget. And if you make a mistake, don't act like you made a mistake. Like if you count to 3, you're like, no, that was a 2 count, because I've done that before too. And if you start to ref, don't beat yourself up over any mistakes you make, because I used to do that. If I had a match and I made a mistake, I beat myself up for a week. Don't do that. It's not worth it.
Oops, wrong button.
There's he is.
Apparently
Wrong
the other
button.
two. Oh, there they are. I thought you were just blowing off the other 2 guys. Okay.
No, I hit the wrong button. Sorry.
No, but that is
Okay, go with
excellent
that.
advice.
Go with that.
That was
Thank
excellent advice. Thank you.
Thank you,
Craig.
Refereeing is fun. It's not as easy as people think. People think, oh, you go in there and you count 1, 2, 3. I'm like, no.
No.
I mean, you do
There's
that.
a lot more to it. A lot more.
There's a lot more to it, especially like where to stand. The rule. You got to know like the rules and what to see, what not to see, and sometimes you just got to act on instinct. Like if you see, I know it's funny, but it's like never trust the baby faces, because you always got to say no. I see what you're trying to do. You get back. You're not legal, and then the heels can do the double team or whatever.
Right.
Exactly.
And, it's like get back in there, and always talk to the wrestlers. They can't, the fans can't hear you, so just say, is this coming? If you get lost, talk to them. Like, is this spot coming up? Is this coming up? And make sure you're like in contact. Keep going back and forth with wrestlers, because they'll send messages to you. They'll say, tell the other guy to charge me or something like that. Then you go to the guy and say, go run at him or something like that. So stay in communication.
Let's protect the business here.
I thought you said I could say anything I want.
Well, you can, but I don't want to, like there's. I still like.
Don't want to give too many secrets away.
Yeah.
Okay. Ignore what I said. Delete that last part. Okay.
No, it's there.
Stay close to the wrestlers just in case they need you for help. How's that?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay. So no kayfabe. Go figure. Okay. I'm sorry I exposed the business. Oh no.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. It's good.
I
I just didn't want to go too deep.
Okay.
Even though most people know what goes on.
Yeah, there's documentaries.
Yeah. Should I tell you about
Did that.
the granny plants in the audience? The people where they. I saw that episode exposing the secrets of pro wrestling. Yeah, they put old women in the audience, and the wrestlers hit them and then there's like the wink. Yeah, okay.
You know who's good for the wink? James Ellsworth.
James Ellsworth. Okay. Yeah, well, I worked with him, so.
Oh yeah. So, any more plugs for you?
Let me see. Let me get out my list here. Let's see. Pro Star. United Wrestling Coalition is running. Their next show is Saturday, September 7th. It's actually a scholarship show. It's a benefit show, and I'm managing my team of brilliant Bobby Banks, who I said is one of my favorite guys, and Iron Bull Argus against Boom Harden and Hector El Toro. And 2 more plugs, I guess. There's 2 shows September 14th. I'll just be working one of them. I'm working SPO Wrestling on September 14th. That stands for Superpowers Wrestling. That's Johnny Cashmere's promotion. They're in 827 Jersey Avenue in Gloucester City, New Jersey. 7:30 bell time. I'm managing El Carzon, I believe, against Brandon Downey. Now, also on that show, unfortunately, I won't be there. Also on that date, September 14th, if you're in the lower Delaware area, 1CW is running. In Houston, Delaware, 143 Broad Street, 6 o'clock bell time. They are one of my it's so much fun to work there, to be part of the Horribles. And if you had to ask me, the worst thing about the business is when there's a conflict and there's two shows, there's two promotions that you work for, and they're both running the same date. And I hate when that happens. And I have to choose.
Right.
Mhm.
And someone always loses. I want to do both shows, but I can't. So I got the okay with everyone. So I'm working SPO wrestling, because last time I picked 1CW over SPO. So this time I'm picking SPO over 1CW. And I don't like, I hate having to miss shows because they run on the same date. But,
Right.
it's not a competition, because one show is in New Jersey, one's in Delaware. So they're not competing with each other.
Right.
It's not like they're down the road.
True. Yeah.
There's no, you can't blame him for that. Oh, did that guy, what was that question? Here we go. Most famous wrestler that I've ever met? Jerry Lawler, Tommy Dreamer, Jim Neidhart,
Mick Foley.
I met him. That's right. I'm not thinking of the guys I worked with, but yeah, I met Mick Foley. One time when I went to the Civic Center, this was like when I was just a fan, I saw this old guy. He was like, "Hello," and I went right back to him. I was like, "Hello," and I'm thinking, "Oh, who's this old guy? He's lost, doesn't he?" It turns around. It turns around. It's Ric Flair.
What?
He's like,
Oh,
he's like,
snap.
how do I get to the arena from here? I'm like, yeah. He's like, never mind, I'll find it. I'm like, okay. So, in terms of just meeting, that's my most awkward meeting. I met Ric Flair that way.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
All right, Craig.
So anything else you guys want to ask me, or I can contribute?
You can contribute whatever you like.
I can't think
Did
of
you
anything
finish the
else.
whole list?
I pretty much plugged everything I need to plug. I mean, I could go further on, but I don't want to. I got shows in like October and stuff, but I don't want to. That's a little bit too far. So
Too
I'll
far
stick with
ahead,
September.
Okay.
I really, really enjoy the business. I'll say this right now. If it wasn't for pro wrestling, I wouldn't be in the shape that I'm in, which it's not. I'm not super muscular, but I wouldn't be in good shape. I wouldn't have any motivation to exercise. I have more self-confidence about myself. I have no problem with public speaking anymore. I look great. Yeah, there I am.
Come on, Craig. You're in good shape there. Look at them
Look at the
guns.
muscles.
Look at them
I have a little bit of
guns.
muscles. Teeny tiny muscles, like Steve Regal muscles. If I go like that, there I go. I have like teeny tiny muscles, but I'm in good shape. And I wouldn't be in good shape if it wasn't for wrestling. I wouldn't exercise if it wasn't for wrestling. And I wouldn't have all these memories and all these friends if it wasn't for wrestling. So I'm not going to say wrestling has saved my life, but I'm a much happier person and joyful, and it has changed me for the better, and wrestling has made me a better person.
I like that explanation.
How much longer do you see yourself doing anything in wrestling, whether it's commentary, refereeing, managing? Like, how much longer you?
I'm going to do this until my body, like I said before, I'm going to do this until my body says no. I'm going to keep going, then I'll retire, and I'll come back and retire and come back like this. I'm going to quote the late Rocco Rock, because I interviewed him, but they didn't publish it. He says, "I want one more run, and then when I'm done that, yeah, thank you, yeah." And Joe Henry stole that, I guess. Okay. I was like, I want one more run, and then when I'm done with that, I want one more run. So it's like I never want to stop. When my body gives out, yeah, I'd love to color commentate. One thing, well, I always said I wouldn't wrestle, so never say never. But one thing I never want to do, and to all that the people who do this, God bless you. I never want to promote a show. I can't handle. I've seen what people go through and the hair they pull out and the stress they do. For all you promoters out there, that is a tough thing to do. And God bless you for being able to stand it and promote the show and put up with all the headaches and all the problems and stuff like that. So if you're a wrestling promoter, God bless you, because it takes a lot to promote a show.
Yes, it does. It's a crapshoot. You could put on the best card, and unfortunately, tickets may not draw. It's insane. You can have a not so good card and draw a lot. It's a crapshoot.
And I've been to shows where there's like 20 people and it's a stupendous show, and I've been to shows where there's like 300 people and the show sucks. So
Yeah.
it's like it is a crapshoot. It's you know what? People, and another advice: people, if you want to draw, put flyers out. Don't Facebook promote. Get the flyers out. Promote. Get
both.
sponsors, but mainly flyers. Flyer. Put flyers on poles. Get out there. You can't just promote on Facebook. You just can't. You won't draw anything.
Mm-hmm.
You'll draw friends and family, which is like 20 people if you're lucky.
True.
Yep. All right, Craig. Thank you for your time.
I hope I haven't overstayed my welcome. I just love to talk.
No,
So
not at all.
No, not at all.
No,
we
We'd love to have you
appreciate it.
again.
You did fine. We appreciate it, dude.
that was the correct answer, by the way. I was just testing you. Thank you. Okay. Now, thanks for having me, guys. I had a lot of fun. And to Joe Hale, who kept asking me questions, he was the only one who was asking me questions. Thank you. Thanks for asking me questions. And I enjoyed myself, guys. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
All right. Thank you, Craig.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Yeah. Shout out to Joe Hale, man. He's like one of our top top
Viewers.
fans.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you,
Joe.
Right. Unfortunately, promotion DAWG couldn't make it tonight. So we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna play our music. Oh, but first, Will the Thrill. Do us a favor.
Oh, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you have anything to say or add on.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get home, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
This is the Three Wheels of Wrestling podcast.
Everybody, have a good night. Peace out.
Peace out.
Little bit of